Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Antigua, looking like always is Noah Bailey. So, first topic we're going to talk about today is the fact that a Transformers cross G.I. Joe series has been announced.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually uh specifically a uh based on a like a like Transformers, and I think maybe G.I. Joe's in there as well, but I know for a fact a Transformers run by Eric Kirkhope. Eric Kirk, is that his name? Kirkhope? Kirkhope? The guy that made Invincible. Also like wrote some stuff on
hmm
um Transformers as well, which
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um
so okay.
sorry, that was the end of that. That's so um you know me, I love Transformers.
hmm
I grew up watching Transformers, also like some G.I. Joe, not nearly as much, but still like it's in a very similar vein, also by Hasbro, and like I am completely all for them crossing over in this. It'll be animated. That I didn't say that already. It'll
Yeah,
be
yeah, I
animated, so
figured.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And if it's by the same, if it's since it's taking the same like taking source material from the same guy that made Invincible. I'm hoping it's on Amazon Prime since they're pretty good about keeping shows around on a semi yearly basis at this point anyway.
hmm
So yeah.
Okay, that sounds sick. Yeah.
hmm
And that's it. Do we have any idea for a release date or just in development?
That's all I know is that it's Transformers cross GI Joe animated. I don't even know if it's like has a has a release date or a studio or anything. Confirmed. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
happening. Sorry,
Okay.
Robert Kirkman. I was getting a couple things confused there. Robert Kirkman. That's his name.
Okay.
Yeah. And apparently in classic, Invincible fashion, the Robert Kirkman Transformer comics are a little more intense than your typical Transformers fare. So you might be in for some very brutal and interesting stuff with the show.
Okay. Guess we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from everything I can see right now, there's nothing talking about um, where it's going to be or release date or anything. But in the near future, a Transformers and GI Joe thing will be coming. So that's cool. They
That is cool.
this a modern either a movie or TV adaptation of this has kind of been thrown around by Hasbro slash Paramount slash whoever. Um, since 2018 with the Bumblebee movie. Uh, John Cena's character in that movie was originally kind of supposed to maybe be one of the GI Joe characters, but uh, they didn't like nail that down in that movie. And then in the most recent Transformers movie, Rise of the Beasts, at the very end of that movie, it was confirmed that the GI Joe organization does exist in that universe, but this will be animated, so not connected to that. It may be a thing
hmm
where like they originally planning on making it a movie, but like Rise of the Beast kind of underperformed a little bit, so they pivoted to a different medium for it. Which I mean, I personally prefer animated stuff anyway, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we do get it at Amazon, that's great because they'll have that voice acting just you know top tier because that's what they seem to always do. They seem to not have any kind of restrictions when it comes to paying very famous people and getting all the correct people to voice characters. So, yeah, don't mess it up. Because
I mean,
I've seen some
hey,
bad Transformers stuff. I've seen some even worse GI Joe stuff.
it can only get worse, right?
Sure.
Probably.
Uh, that
Maybe.
Snake Eyes movie is kind of garbage.
Kind of
It's
garbage.
kind of garbage, just a little bit.
That movie. You're nicer than I am. That movie's more than kind of garbage, in my opinion.
It's very funny how just on a conceptual level, nothing about that movie works
No,
because Snake Eyes as the
doesn't
character
talk.
isn't supposed to die.
Nope, nope, doesn't talk ever, and he talks the entire movie, and there's no like, oh, he got like cut in the throat at the end of the movie, or like they just don't explain it. He just, yeah, they just
Nope,
don't.
didn't take a vow of silence or anything.
Nope,
No, he just
nothing. Nope,
nothing.
nope.
Okay.
Yep.
But then on
Just
the flip
you know.
side, Paramount also produced the live action Transformers movies where Bumblebee was this silent protagonist who like talked kind of through radio, which is the different Transformers reference, which character that wasn't Bumblebee, but whatever. But Bumblebee historically has also been like was like a very talkative person robot thing, but then they made him
Yeah,
silent. So like, why do you keep messing that up?
yeah. I mean, it's not. There's not really any consistency. So I mean, there's that. But
Yeah, like
what can you do?
yeah, but for some reason in my head, when something is animated, I have less worry about it being um about it like straying from the source material, at least largely because I feel like when you make something live action, for some reason, studios insist uh on the movie or show or whatever being pitched more for a broader audience, and that means changing stuff for some reason, even though the original source material is good and has existed for long enough to make a movie about it. So I feel like there is an audience already baked in. So if the movie's good, those people will spread the word. But no, we got to make it for a for a lower common denominator. Therefore, change a bunch of stuff and make it not what it is. Whereas if it's animated and a show, I feel like is more likely to be good. Obviously, some
Yeah,
animations are bad, but I feel like just on paper, animated Transformers anything is almost always better than live action.
yeah. And I feel like that's one because I feel like that's just one of the things just supposed to be animated, and also two, it's like I feel like when there's animated, there's less pressure on like I guess financial performance because it's like. I feel like whenever a movie is like live action, it's like, hey, if it doesn't do good at the box office, then like we have to scrap everything. So like basically they'll just write thing like they'll just write what they want to write and then just use the property instead of just actually conceptually like just underdoing a Transformers thing or just doing
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is because they can.
Yep. Yep. And that's completely true considering just how massive movie budgets are nowadays. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, Rise of the Beast kind of underperformed because that movie had a $250+ million budget with $100+ million advertising budget, and it made somewhere just north of $400 million, which kind of maybe broke even and like maybe a little bit of profit, but like not enough to warrant a whole future movie in that saga, to the point where there's rumors about them bringing Michael Bay back to direct another Transformers movie,
Oh my gosh.
which I don't, I don't know if that's the band aid to your problem here, especially considering almost every movie he made, after like it kind of like rose up to three, and then the next two, it wouldn't like tank, but still didn't like they each one did worse than the previous one. So I don't know. I feel like if you just make your movie good, there's a higher chance. Oh, I say that, but then Transformers One, which was animated and was very good, underperformed mostly because the advertising for the movie was garbage. So
This is true.
apparently, with something with Transformers, something has to be terrible. There's no way. for a good
Can't
Transformers
just be
movie to be
perfect.
marketed well and make a lot of money. One of those pillars has to fall. Hopefully, if Amazon does pick this up or whoever picks this up can make it a good product, advertise it well, and hopefully, it has enough viewership and whatever to get at least a couple seasons out of it.
Hopefully so. I think it. I mean, yeah, it could be really good.
Mm. All right. Moving over to a little bit of Disney news. It has been confirmed that Avengers Doomsday will be Sir Patrick Stewart's final acting role.
Well, end of an era,
Yeah.
but
Like, it's not just his last time playing Professor X, it is apparently going to
last
be
time
his.
anything.
Yes. Which is hilarious knowing that his final acting role will be him dying as Professor X for a fifth time.
Wait, fifth time?
Yeah,
Really?
X-Men 3.
Yeah.
He for like half a second was dead in the future timeline of Days of Future Past. Died in Logan, again
Right.
Multiverse of Madness, and now this.
Oh yeah, I guess that is five. Well,
Mhm.
it's the four. They don't get you four times.
Maybe he'll make it out alive. I don't know. I just can't see. It was just. I mean, we don't know what that movie's really going to be, but I can't imagine most of those Fox universe characters are going to make it out alive. Just to then allow for future actual MCU X-Men stuff to exist. I feel like if there were ever an X-Men character that is most likely to die in that movie, I feel like it's Charles Xavier.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be his last role, so it's because he's like what? How old now? Like probably 90, almost 90,
I
maybe.
think 92. Yeah, let's find out. Let's do it. 85.
Okay, 85. Okay,
Yeah.
so not quite there yet, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't. But when you get that old, I don't blame people for wanting to kind of even
No.
if he loves acting, there's something you just can't do anymore. You just want to spend the last however many years just doing whatever you want. Like that's cool. He already did his little a the Captain Picard show over on Paramount Plus, whatever. Yeah, I think Paramount Plus. I think that got a couple of seasons, and so he finished out that character story. Now I'm finishing out this character story. I feel like an actor going out on their own terms, especially with one of his most iconic characters like that's kind of how I would want to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of Avengers Doomsday, we now have confirmation that the first teaser for that movie will be shown before the next Avatar movie.
Which comes out
December.
what? Oh God,
Yeah.
they're already because it's like Fire and Ash, right?
Yes.
Oh, there's already another Avatar movie. That was fast.
It
Oh
feels like
God.
it's coming out next month. That doesn't sound real to me, but it is.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, I haven't heard
December
anything about
19th.
it. Have you?
I've seen a couple of trailers here and there, but not nearly to the extent I feel like Way of the Water had.
Yeah, I feel like I know that was the first one back after forever, but I'm like, I feel like the advertisement would have been way bigger. But apparently not. I don't know. But
I guess
I'm
it's a
also
movie that
just
is
kind of like,
it's a movie that just kind of sells itself. Maybe that's the
yeah,
idea.
I guess because I'm like, I didn't think the last one was gonna make nearly as much money as it did. So I clearly don't
Who
know
knows?
anything about movies. So
I
I'm
wouldn't have
like,
bet on
listen,
it making $2+ billion, but it did.
I didn't think it was gonna make 1 billion. I was like, no one's gonna care anymore because like graphics caught up. But I'm like,
No,
no, people
people
loved it for some reason.
People
I'm
care.
not a huge fan personally, but
No.
eh,
But if you're in for another 3+ hour movie about blue people,
I mean,
have
hey,
at it. But due to that now technically being a Disney property and it being that's probably going to be the highest grossing movie of the year, all things considered, especially since the only other movie to break 1 billion this year, I believe, was Lilo and Stitch somehow.
yeah.
Like just barely squeaked by.
I mean, it's on name brand. I mean,
Yeah, it's a kids movie. Yeah, the original movie when it came out, it was relatively niche, but over time it became a pretty big property.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think releasing it or showing the trailer for Avengers Doomsday in front of probably going to be the most popular movie of the year that's the right call.
Yeah, probably. I mean, while I don't get it, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably is gonna be like. Do you think it's gonna still do as good as the other two have?
I don't
Right?
know. I
Like
really don't
it's
know.
logically it shouldn't, but like I don't know. Logically, the last one shouldn't have either.
Yeah, like I feel like you'd be dumb to not bet. I feel like you'd be dumb to bet against it breaking at least 1 billion. But I mean, the meme is that you like the average person seems to not really know anyone who saw Avatar, or
Mm-hmm.
it had make no real no real cultural impact. They're just kind of it's a movie that exists that made a lot of money, yet people don't really seem to talk about it, even less so for Way of the Water. So I really don't know. Um, Although it is interesting that we're apparently getting a trailer for Avengers Doomsday before a teaser for the next Spider-Man movie, and that's supposed to come out before Doomsday. Uh,
Yes.
huh.
Hmm.
So I,
That's March,
Spider-Man is July.
July. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Okay. I
like
gotta
it
get all these
has.
movie timelines. So
I do specifically remember watching what was it? Star Wars: The Last Jedi, seeing a trailer for both Black Panther and Infinity War, but I feel like that Black Panther trailer had existed for a couple of months at that point,
yeah.
whereas
Oh yeah.
like we're kind of running out of time for a teaser for Spider-Man unless we get a teaser for Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday at the same time, but it is also possible. Although Sony
Feels kind of
typically
dumb.
has the marketing does the marketing for their own even further Spider-Man movies, so they wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily want to put that in front of the Disney property, but it is a Marvel property. I don't know.
I mean, it's Spider Man, so people are still gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
There could be no trailers for it, and people will still show up.
Yeah, like that is a property that sells itself. Like,
Right.
like people don't for some reason seem to really hate Far From Home. I think it's fine. And that movie broke 1 billion. I'm assuming there's not like some absolutely massive competition in the exact same genre as it around the same time. I don't think I think Spider-Man 4 will be just fine. Yeah, Supergirl on the other hand is also coming out in next June, so like 2 weeks before it. That might have some issues. No matter regardless of how good that movie is, I feel like that of the two, that movie definitely has the least chance of being wildly successful. I hope it does well. I hope it's good, but it's definitely not Spider-Man. It's definitely not Toy Story 5. It's definitely not Christopher Nolan's next movie, which is The Odyssey. Like Spider-Man, I think could hold its own. I don't really know about Supergirl.
Yeah, I mean, Supergirl not as much, but I mean, potentially.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on over to gaming stuff. It's been confirmed that GTA 6 has been delayed from May of next year to November 19th of next year.
mean, at this point, I mean, I feel like they're delaying it on purpose to like build hype. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense, but it's like you keep it in the news without releasing it.
Sure,
I
I
don't know,
guess.
man. I don't
Like
know.
now, I personally am all for game companies releasing a game when it is 100% ready to be released. However, with this game specifically, Rockstar is one of the biggest companies, one of the most profitable companies. They've been theoretically working on this game since at least since Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018. You know, at least doing like concepts and stuff before then. So you would think 6 years would be enough to make a game, but apparently not. They gotta push it back again, and I wouldn't be surprised if it get delayed out of 2026.
I mean, at this point, man, like, because like, what are we doing?
They're making what has to be the best game ever. Like, that's what it
But
that's
like, I mean, I don't like. I understand putting all the time for the game, but it's like this game. I mean, first of all, we've been talking about this game for 12 years.
Mhm.
We're pushing it back. Why, like, you're pushing it back again and doing this, and it's like, how much time do you need? Like, I understand it's gonna be a big game. I get that, but I feel like they're literally just pushing it back so they can keep the price raised.
Yeah, and like it's also possible that they're like because Rockstar for some reason insists on releasing on console first and then PC later, they may
Mm-hmm.
be in like polishing it but still like delaying it more just so they can guarantee there's more PS5s and Xbox Series out there to sell it on. Because when GTA 5 came out in 2013, there were at least 160 million PS3s and 360s out, even more, because those consoles, by the end of their life, got up to around 90 million. So they were maybe at around 80, 85 at the time of that game's release. Whereas here, by next November, there's probably going to be around 100 million PS5s. They're at like 80 ish now, and they might have 20 million more. There's at least going to be 90, 95 million by then. But then Series X, uh, there's projections that there's not even 30 million Xbox Series sold at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So at best, you're looking at 130 million consoles to sell to, meaning in order to confirm that they make their money back, those rumors about this game costing $100 might be looking a little more realistic. If people
That's
are
what
gonna
I'm
buy it,
saying.
it's not gonna stop people from buying it.
I know, but still, it's just like, oh, it's so frustrating.
Mhm. Yeah, they should not do it. I think since people have started doing it, like you might as well make it 80 because people are apparently willing to spend $80 on games. Um, Especially a game of this caliber, I think they can get away with it. But like, I, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make it more than 80.
They're just gonna set it at 100. I can already feel it. It's just gonna be like, yep, this is the first game of $100, and people are gonna pay it, and then the floodgates open.
And then next year you're gonna have Ubisoft trying to say that Assassin's Creed is worth $90 or $100. Like, no,
Yes,
stop
yes,
that.
exactly.
Rockstar is unique. Only they can do that.
No, like literally, they shouldn't even do it, but they're going to. And then every new like big game is gonna be $100 now, and it's
Mhm.
like, oh my, what are we doing, chat?
Like,
But
like,
I don't know, man. It's just like why?
it's one thing to be Rockstar and have this game that you know will print money no matter what price you set it at. Setting it at
Yes.
$100. But in most other scenarios, because just like with movies, but even more so with games, development costs have just ballooned to a ridiculous degree. A lot of these other companies are going to see that as like, oh, we could. That's just an all these people bought that specific video game for this amount. We can charge more, even though them charging more will decrease the amount of people that will buy that game. And I feel like they will see immediate results of that happening, and then the game will be discounted quickly because that actually kind of happened with again Xbox making a weird decision that happened with Outer Worlds 2. Uh, about a month or two after the Switch 2 presentation happened, and then Mario Kart World was priced at 80, which I don't think it should have been. I think Nintendo shouldn't have. I think they should have just stuck at 70, but whatever, it is 80. A month or two later, Microsoft announced that Outer Worlds 2 would be selling for $80. Be their first $80 game, not Halo, not Gears of War, not Forza, like not one of their big franchises. Outer Worlds 2. I don't know. It seems
Mm.
like a little bit of a stretch to have this game that will be less popular anyway be charged that much, but whatever. And then within like a couple of days, they backpedal. Like, oh, actually, no, we're only doing 70, meaning they saw
Right.
immediately as soon as pre-orders went up, no one's pre-ordering it because it was too expensive.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas, like, I feel, even though it is a little scummy, I feel like Mario Kart specifically can get away with it because just the branding of Mario Kart is so powerful. Same with GTA, Grand Theft Auto is so powerful they can charge whatever for that brand and more or less get away with it. I don't think, especially at this point, Assassin's Creed has that clout. I don't even know if Call of Duty, they're kind of getting to the point where they don't really have that clout. I don't know. I really hope GTA getting delayed and then also, potentially putting that $100 price tag. I hope that doesn't incentivize other people to raise it more than they already have.
Hope not, but I kind of fear it will.
Yeah. Who knows? I also find it very funny that now Jeff Keighley always has the chance to change his own rules since he invented the Game Awards. He can do whatever he wants. But typically, I think the cutoff for the Game of the Year nominations is middle of November. So it might either be like on the very last day possible to be eligible, or just barely out of the range of being eligible for the Game of the Year next year. And if that's the
That's
case,
not.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I'm like, because where's the official cutoff? Is it like, is it eligible? Is it only eligible for the year it comes out in? And if that's the case, why make a game come out at the end of like in the last 2 or 3 months of the year anyway?
So,
But
so any game that comes out after the cutoff is eligible for next year. In 2019's Game of the Year, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was up for a couple of categories since it released in December of 2018.
mm-hmm.
So it's either
Yeah,
ooh, because it's either the second or third weekend or second or third Friday in November is when the cutoff is, and is specifically releasing on November 19th, which is a Thursday. So it literally might be like one day before the cutoff.
that's what I'm saying. But it's like, is that really not? Is that fair? But it's like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of the people who are on these panels are game critics who probably will get review codes a week or two before anyway, so like they'll they'll have it and they'll be able to more or less make judgments on it by the time voting starts the next week. It's I don't know. They'll I'm curious how that'll happen. But speaking of Game Awards, I feel a little bad for games like Marvel's Wolverine, which is currently slated for fall of next year. And sometimes fall means November. So hopefully you come out early October or September. So get out of the way of that.
I mean, yeah, we'll see, but either way, I think GTA 6 is going to be fine category wise. I feel like if it's for that year, it's for 2026, assuming it doesn't move again, then it's like,
Wow.
it'll be fine. It'll be fresh and win like every category probably. And if it's for the next year, it'll still win a bunch of categories probably because it's,
Yeah.
the biggest game ever, supposedly.
Mm, supposedly. All right. Here's the absolutely crazy one that goes along with my comment on Microsoft making some crazy decisions. Um, Halo Campaign Evolved was announced coming out next year. It's a remake of the original Halo, because you had the original Halo, then you had Halo Combat Evolved, which was a remake for the PS for the 360, I think, and that was everything. It was the campaign online, everything.
Mm.
This is Halo Campaign Evolved, which is just the story of the original Halo with modern graphics. And it is being released on Xbox Series and Series X, PC, and PlayStation 5 next year.
Okay.
I mean,
PlayStation 5. That's
we are
really,
at the like we
we're
are
doing this.
asymptotically close to Microsoft is going completely third party, because the last possible chip Xbox fanboys have in their in their hand is, oh well, that's just a remake. That's not like a real Halo game. The next real Halo
How is
game
it
was
not a real
Infinite.
Halo game?
It's a remake. It's not.
But
It's
it's a
delusional.
remake of a real Halo
You're right. You're absolutely right.
game.
Like, oh, the Gears of War remake that came out on PS5, that's also just a remake. Ignore the fact that Horizon Zero, or Forza Horizon 5, I think the most recent one, yeah, Forza Horizon 5, that also came over to PS5. Ignore that. That's a real game. There's no real like stipulations there outside of it being like slightly old when it came out. Um, no, the next Halo and almost every other future Xbox game, I guarantee at this point, it's going to PlayStation.
Yeah, at this point, it's basic. I mean, I don't think Xbox is even trying. They're just like, yeah, sure, whatever, you can have it.
Yeah, to the point where um, there's currently a rumor that seems more and more true every day that the next Xbox is essentially just going to be a branded PC tower that can play Xbox games, which I've
Yeah.
always said was dumb because like Xbox is Xbox already has all their games on PC anyway. So like, why are they branding like PC gaming stuff, Xbox stuff, if it's functionally identical to other PC handhelds and PC gaming stuff anyway? Like, as far as I know, there's no exclusive Xbox games anymore. As far as I know, pretty much every, if not all, games that are made for Xbox Series X are also made for PC. So is Xbox just a PC now? Is that just what it
I
is?
mean, if it gives them access to Steam, then I mean, that might be what you got to do to survive. Just make, because a lot of people are just PC gamers now. So it's like if you can kind of just get it, you've acknowledged, hey, Xbox isn't happening. Why don't we just go ahead and just make Xbox PC gaming one thing, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, that might tip the scales.
Like, it's just so funny the trajectory that Xbox has been on the past couple of years, because it wasn't even a year or two ago that Microsoft had this massive campaign centered around their Xbox Cloud Play Anywhere initiative, where they were like pitching a bunch of different kinds of technology, tablets, laptops, phones, other other gaming devices, as Xboxes. Like this computer I'm having right here was in the advertisement as like this is an Xbox. You know, tablets is an Xbox. Your phone is an Xbox.
We are Xbox.
Yeah, so like so to go from saying that everything else is an Xbox, just I don't know. I don't know what the end goal there was, like outside of pivoting away completely from consoles. And I mean, Microsoft is a has always been a computer company, so it seems like a natural fit to just pivot the brand into PC stuff. But I don't know. It just is definitely going to make the next Xbox a lot less affordable because the current rumored price for this Xbox PC hybrid thing is $1,200.
No, no, no one's gonna buy that. Because at that point, you just get your own game PC.
Yeah, I was just telling you the other day, like you can get a pretty good gaming PC from Best Buy for $800. Like, and that's on top of it, playing games is also a computer.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not. No, no
No,
one's gonna pay 1200. Come on now.
like I would be shocked if the next PlayStation is less than 600. Even then, that might be pushing it. It might even be a little more. But if there's no competition, really, like yeah, you have the Switch too, but at this point, the Switch and the PlayStation are in like kind of different markets, but also kind of like companion pieces to each other. So like they're not really like competing at this point. Um, if there's no Xbox even try to compete with PlayStation, and they start selling a console for $1,200, kind of similar to the games discussion we are just having, PlayStation might start to kind of you know ratchet up the price of their own consoles to 800, 900, thousand plus dollars. They can get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I hope not. I like competition. I like Xbox has been a staple in gaming for the past 25 years. Like I wouldn't want them to go anywhere. But with every single decision they've made for the past several years, it just feels like they've been on this trajectory to just stop making consoles as a whole and just start doing their own thing, which I guess is fine. But it definitely is. It's definitely going to be interesting seeing how this all plays out, especially if all their games come to PlayStation also. Because then why even get the next Xbox anything if you can just play it on PlayStation?
Yeah. I mean, it's just. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like. I guess the console war is over. I guess.
Yeah, that is
Just.
kind of what people were saying after this Halo game got announced for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like,
It
oh, I
was
guess the
like.
console war's over. Like PlayStation not pouring their stuff to Xbox, at least not to the same degree. There's like one or two, like MLB The Show is technically a PlayStation Studios game,
Oh, why do you
but
care? No.
no, that's just like not counting a sports game. Like it's not the same
No.
thing as Halo. So so yeah, congratulations, Sony. You won. Nintendo started fighting a different battle, just doing their own thing over here.
Yeah.
Xbox gave up years ago, and you're just still doing your thing. So congratulations.
Great. I guess.
Yeah.
Way to go.
hmm What's hilarious is apparently, um, like I love these events, these like Nexus events that happen where you're like, oh, if that one decision was changed, like we'd be in a completely different reality right now. Like there were
Different.
like two kind of major things that I'm thinking of right now that Xbox did that I think massively just screwed them over. First, well, really three, but like first 2013 when they just absolutely fumbled out of the gate with the Xbox Series with that the name is terrible, I can't even say it right. The Xbox One.
Yeah.
Like they pitched it as they tried to say it wasn't even a gaming console, it's an entertainment device that mainly lets you watch TV and sports. That also might have a game or two, but also you need the Connect always connected, always has to have an online connection in order to work. Like as this like DRM system where all the games you buy can only be played on that one device. You can't trade them or give them to a friend or whatever. Um, and then Sony just absolutely clowned on them. Just, like PlayStation 4 was cheaper. It didn't have any of that, and it had actual games at launch that people wanted to play.
Yeah.
Like
Who
luckily
would have thought?
by the time it came out, Xbox did actually remove the fact that it had to be that have the Connect always connected. They got rid of that. They got rid of the DRM. They got rid of the always on connection thing. Like that's even though they were saying adamantly like no, it has to have this in order to work because it's actually good for you that it does this. Like they backpedaled on that real quick. So then, not even 2 years um, into the Xbox One existing, they were already saying, "Oh, some of our games are going to be coming to PC as well," which at the time kind of made sense because Xbox is owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft owns Windows, and Windows is able to has a storefront, so they're fine. It's still within the Microsoft ecosystem, so like it was like kind of the beginning of the end of like the first kind of notes of them putting their games other places, but it did kind of signal that they weren't as confident in their console as they could have been.
Mm.
And then the thing that just absolutely put the nail in their coffin was now this is technically just a rumor, but it is pretty much fact. So a game by Insomniac released in 2015 for Xbox called Sunset Overdrive. The game came out, people liked it, but it didn't really like take off like they thought it would. So then Insomniac was shopping around for what their next game would be. Their first their first pitch for Insomniac's next game was to Microsoft. And Microsoft, despite knowing that their next game was gonna be Spider-Man, they said no. Sunset Overdrive underperformed. We don't want you to make Spider-Man for us. So then Insomniac pitched it to Sony, and Sony was like, "We like this idea so much, we're gonna buy the entire studio." And yeah, it turns out Spider-Man was a pretty good video game.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. And then all future Insomniac games, which are all of them pretty good, are Sony exclusive. So you just let that like you could have, especially in like the current era of Microsoft, it would have been like if that pitch had happened even like a year or two later, Microsoft would have accepted that and then bought the entire studio just to spite Sony because that's what they did with Bethesda. That's what they did with Activision Blizzard. Like they could have done that. They should have. I think company consolidation is bad, but they could have done that, and then Sony would have to have someone else make Ratchet and Clank. That could have been kind of funny. But but yeah, ever since then, like imagine, like, just imagine Spider-Man being an Xbox property. Like we should have lived in that reality, and I think that would have been at least a better reality for Xbox. At least been a little more successful. So,
maybe maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Okay. So the last topic I have is I haven't had a podcast since I've really like sunk my teeth into this game, but I just want to talk at you for a little bit about the most recent Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends ZA. I really, really, really enjoy this game. um, and the reason I kind of have to start like that is because for some reason this game specifically was getting just review bombed. It was getting a lot of negative press online before and like just after it came out. Um, to the point where if anyone was saying they were having fun playing it, they were called a shill, they were called a fanboy, they were called like brainwashed and just like heaven forbid you like a video game. It's could the game be better? Sure. It's a little weird that there's no voice acting. Pokemon does this weird thing where they have cutscenes where characters move their mouths to dialogue that is present on the scrolling on the screen, but then you don't actually hear any sounds coming out of them. It's just you just read the dialogue. Um, so that's a little weird. Could the graphics be better? Yes. Not nearly as ugly as Scarlet and Violet were. Kind of hard to be as ugly as Scarlet and Violet were, but it's not quite that ugly. But it's still like definitely could be better. Um, are there little things here and there like the fact that like it is just in one big city and you do like after like if you're not absolutely loving it, it could get a little monotonous just like going to the same places, kind of on repeat. Sure. Do I wish that there was some method of fast travel or not fast travel, sorry, faster travel, like a Pokemon you can ride on or roller skates or a bike or something to get around faster? Sure. But the very essence of this game is, in my opinion, like some of the most fun I have had in a Pokemon game in years. Like, you know me, I love Pokemon. I absolutely like it's my absolute all-time favorite franchise of anything. Like as much as
Hmm.
I love Star Wars and superheroes and whatever else, Pokemon is above all of those. And I wouldn't necessarily say I enjoy it more than like Scarlet Violet or Sword and Shield, but it definitely it the way I'm having fun feels unique because it feels like such a natural escalation from the previous Legends game. That was the game where uh, they had the radical idea where you don't actually have to battle the Pokemon in order to try to catch it. You can just chuck a ball, and if it catches, it catches. If not, then you have to battle it.
Hmm.
Yeah, they made catching super fun. They made because one little issue with Legends Arceus was um, you had to craft all your balls. You had to like upgrade your bag to carry more stuff. And I don't I've never really been like a huge fan of crafting systems like that in games. You don't really like I didn't really like need that stuff unless like in Tears of the Kingdom. Even though we probably should have like brewed potions and stuff to combine meals to make myself go faster and have like resistance and that kind of thing. I didn't really touch that stuff. I was fine without it. Would it have been more fine? Yes, but I was fine without it. Whereas in this game, since it was like forced on me, I didn't really like it. It wasn't my favorite thing to have to manage the stuff I had and like make sure I have the materials in order to replenish any balls that I use and whatever. Whereas in this game, it's just your standard Pokeballs and Ultra Balls and Dive Balls and other more standard varieties of stuff that just cost money to buy. Um, like they made catching, in my opinion, even more fun than in Legends Arceus, because in Legends Arceus they just had it where every single Pokemon has like different research tiers where like you catch a certain number of them, you battle, you like use certain moves with each Pokemon, and like as you do those, like your rank will increase over time. Uh, but how it would do in this game is there's like a kind of universal mission system where every time you catch, let's say, a water type, the the whole thing will say, well, like, number of water types caught, it like increments up, and every time you get like 25 more, you get a little reward. And I like little rewards. so so it kind of like breaks it up in that way, because it's not like, oh, you catch, let's say you catch a Pidgey in Legends Arceus, you would catch that Pidgey, you catch five more, and then you're done catching them. Now you gotta
Right.
battle with, you gotta win a fight. Now you gotta use wing attack how many times. You gotta catch a certain size of them, and that like I feel like, especially for someone who likes the team they have. I catch my team super early on, and then that's the team I like to use. I don't really like switching in and out where possible. If I can just catch a bunch and that gives me points, that's more fun to me personally. Um, I will say that the wild areas in this game are a little. I could see them being a little underwhelming. They're just a little smaller than you may think they should be. They're not like those grand, like larger areas that were in Legends Arceus, but there are still Pokemon around us in the street, um, that outside of those wild areas. So there is still a sense of, no matter where you are, you still can catch stuff. Um, but the other thing they majorly changed is the battle system. Legends Arceus had this thing where there was this like, it's they call it what they call it, agile and strong style. Like basically you had a system where you
Hmm.
basically use like a stronger attack that basically used two turns, or a
Right.
faster one that was a little weaker, but you got to attack again.
Right.
I never really liked that. I never really understood exactly like it never felt consistent about what exactly
Yeah.
caused certain things to happen. So you just get attacked three times in a row and you can't respond. That's I didn't really like that. Um, in this game, they completely overhauled the battle system. Now all of your moves are mapped to the face buttons, and once you use a move, that move is now on a cooldown. So you can basically use moves as fast as you can press them, as long as that move is available to use.
Hmm.
And I the one little thing is that the speed stat is still a little confusing to me, because it doesn't, for some reason the speed stat doesn't influence how fast a move comes out. It seems to just influence how fast a Pokemon can kind of move around the battlefield, and also maybe how fast the certain moves recharge, which is a little confusing because moves have a specific cooldown. Like Earthquake, I know for a fact has a 10-second cooldown, but if my Pokemon has a fast enough speed, that cooldown charges up faster. That seems a little counterintuitive to me, but whatever. Whatever. Uh, so yeah, like your trainer, you kind of control your trainer and your Pokemon to kind of like move around the battlefield to like dodge an attack and then counter attack with the move that's available to you. Um, and they did a pretty good job at taking all of the moves that currently exist in Pokemon and um, modifying them to work in this way. Like a lot of the beam attacks to shoot a beam straight ahead. A lot of the more like wind attacks, like hurricane, blizzard, and that kind of thing, like create a little like area on the ground, and then just like a vortex will appear, to the point where accuracy and power points aren't really a thing anymore. Like a move doesn't have a number of times you can use it, which is amazing. I don't need to be stressed out about only having, you know, five fire
Right.
blasts, and
Your best moves, yeah.
if you miss one, that's you're down a whole move. So and they that's like kind of in the cooldown thing because moves that would have lower PP have higher cooldowns, which I think seems fair. But also moves that seem to have lower accuracy take a lot longer to come out and have like a more telling like spot that they'll hit or and stuff like that. So once you see the move about to come out, you have more of an opportunity to get out of the way. So they still kind of kept those like all the main elements of Pokemon battling intact, just in a completely different way of actually doing the battling, and I thought it was very impressive.
Hmm.
It does kind of feel like at times that the opponent can attack faster than you, even though you have better and faster Pokemon. Like there were so many times I was in a battle where I knew for a fact if this were a standard Pokemon game, I would just wipe the floor with the opponent. But just the way the battle mechanics work in this game, they were attacking kind of like before I can attack, or just they're able to get out of the way, or they just something about just the way they moved was what makes that Pokemon better than how they are in the main game.
Hmm.
Uh, but still, I had an absolute blast with that, especially since the main hook of this game, the main like gameplay loop, is during the day you do all of your like you do like your catching, you do your like side missions around the city, and then at night the a chunk of the city becomes a battle zone where you enter the battle zone and there's a bunch of trainers just kind of around this battle zone with a Pokemon just out with them. So the goal is that you need to beat a certain number of trainers and like kind of get points in order to get a ticket to the fight, like base functionally a gym leader. It's not really, but like it's like they're like kind of bosses that get stronger over time as you like rank up from Z to rank A. Um, so if like let's say someone is standing there with a Pidgeot and you have a Ampharos in your squad, you have a walking next to you. If you sneak up to him and he's facing away from you, and you tell your Ampharos to use Thunderbolt on the Pidgeot, and you hit the Pidgeot, you know, you start the battle with Pidgeot either taking a bunch of damage or just knocked out immediately. So then you have
Right.
an advantage going into the fight. And in these battle zones, there's also these other little like challenged cards that stuff like use 10 super effective moves or sneak up on the opponent or do just like kind of do things during a battle, and after you do that thing however many times you get extra points that'll help you get your goal faster. And that just makes you want to use more of your team even if the Pokemon you have isn't like the strongest against the opponent because they have a steel move and you need to use three steel moves. You may want to use them here.
Hmm.
So yeah, that just I've always really liked battling in Pokemon. That's just that's the main reason I play them more or less. Um, and I still probably prefer the turn-based combat of the main series, but the way they implemented battling was so unique and so fresh that like I kind of hope that at least future Legends games keeps a similar battle mechanic. Um, One really funny thing this game did. So as I mentioned, the goal of the game is to like rank up from you start at rank Z and you go all the way up to rank A, and after you get to rank A, like some story thing happens that I'll get to a little bit later probably. Um, but I think when developing this game, they realized that 26 ranks is a lot of ranks. That's a lot of day and night cycles and fighting just a bunch of trains. I could see that getting monotonous. Not that I got tired of it, but like I could see during development on top of all the other story stuff they have during the day and whatever, I could see them feeling like 26 is a lot. So, I believe after you hit rank V, the next fight you do is basically against like the president of the of the city, whatever, of the organization who basically in charge of this battle system here. The president's assistant person battles you, and you jump all the way from rank V up to rank F. I think. Yeah, you're all the way up to rank F. So you jump 15 spots, which is why I said it's like kind of like gym leaders because there's basically 8 or 9 fights before like a final fight with your rival, like your main rival, which kind of acts as like a kind of like champion-ish fight. It's more complicated than that, but that's kind of how it feels. Um, but yeah, I'm all for I'm all for them jumping there because, like I said, there's a lot of like other story stuff that you do as well, which includes um, the main like selling point of this game was that new mega evolutions are in this game.
Mm-hmm.
This thing that people have been wanting them to come back to ever since 2014 with the Gen 3 remakes. They were in Generation 7, but there weren't any new ones, and now there are a bunch of new ones. And I'm not going to get into most of them right now. Just know that a lot of people are split about how they feel about a lot of them. So I I don't know. I there's like 2 that I really don't like, but most of them I kind of like for various reasons. But the main like story is something about, again, it's a little complicated, but something about the city is like causing a bunch of Pokemon to do what is called rogue mega evolution. So usually a trainer and a Pokemon will need to like both be holding some special item in order to have that Pokemon mega evolve. But these
Mm-hmm.
random wild Pokemon are just mega evolving all around the city. So you have to like first do a bunch of like parkour stuff, which also was a little challenging at times because I feel like both Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet perfected just moving around very easily, and this game didn't really have like any kind of climbing system. I feel like that was also missing, but whatever. And then once you find the Rogue Mega, you go into like this big arena area, and you fight the opponent basically in like a big boss fight where you have your team and you're like dodging big attacks and like they're still like using normal attacks, but they're like big like AOE blasts of sludge and vines and whatever if the big victory bell or whatever. Um, and I enjoyed pretty much every single one of those. It was uh, again, it was just a very like different way of using the battle mechanics they had in a very cool way. So I and you always fought them with one of like your friendly rival friend characters, and like they were all very good. The character writing in general in this game was some of the best, if not the best, Pokemon has ever done. Um,
Really?
yeah, like every single character was super charming. It's very rare for a Pokemon game to have me liking every single character introduced, and I can't think of any that I didn't like. Um, that's good. Um, trying to think if there's any other like major bits that I missed. Are there any like specific questions about it that you like heard about or have?
Honestly, I haven't heard that much about it. That's why I was kind of interested to hear what you had to say. Like, I mean, I knew you were gonna like it, but I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, I honestly kind of forgot this was happening. I haven't really heard anything about it.
Hmm. Um, yeah, it like I said, does it have its issues? Sure.
Yeah, but game does.
It is the first Pokemon game I had to spend $70 on. It's got on the Switch too. And like because I played it on Switch too, maybe that's why I'm not having the issues that other people had. Like some people are saying it's a glitchy, buggy mess with terrible frame rate and terrible graphics. I'm like, on the Switch 2, it looks fine. I haven't ran into any glitches. It seems to run at a stable 60 frames. Like, I don't know, like sometimes the camera can be like a little wonky, but that's like it looks like a lot of games are like that nowadays. Like, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoyed the story. There isn't like a ton to do after you beat the game, but also I've I don't know. I feel like especially nowadays when I am an adult and able to buy whatever games I want, I typically have a lot of games in my backlog that I probably should be playing anyway. So I don't need a major post game to keep me coming back to it. So not a big deal to me. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't necessarily want the next like mainline game to have the same battle mechanics, but I think taking like the side mission structure, there's just a ton of random people around the city that ask you for various things, like bring them certain items, certain Pokemon, or just battle them with a certain Pokemon, or only use certain kinds of moves, or just or like like various like fetch quests, and just the variety of things that the game asks you to do is just something that I do hope they carry into the next game.
Hmm.
So
Step in the right direction.
yeah, I'd say so. Absolutely. And if it's not the next game, it should be, but if it's not, at least the next Legends game, I hope they keep a very similar formula. Okay. I think that's
Oh,
all I have. Is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off?
not too much. I mean, just I anime continues to be awesome this year. I think I saw the Chainsaw Man movie earlier this
Mhm.
weekend. It was quite good. So 2 for 2 on anime movies in the theater. As far as I'm not sure how it's doing financially at the moment,
Um,
but
I don't know.
I assume it's nowhere near Demon Slayer's numbers. But
That's
I
gonna be
feel
hard to
like
do for for any anime movie.
exactly, but still, like just a good omen.
Mhm. It's doing fine. Doing really
How
well in
much is
Japan, obviously. So that's
well, yeah.
currently 158 million.
Okay,
So
that's
coming
not
up
bad.
2 weeks. Yeah, or something a little nicher. Like that's like Chainsaw Man is it, especially for what it is. It was like pretty popular, but it's not.
Mhm.
It
It
hasn't been
hasn't been
around as
out
long as Demon Slayer, and it's not. I don't think it's ever
right.
really can meet that level of popularity that show had. So I think it's doing about as well as that movie can do. So that's good.
Yeah, but no, I thought it was but no, I thought it was really good, and that's what I really like about it. It's just like yeah, we're just gonna keep we're gonna keep anime still doing good. Like that's what
Hmm.
matters.
Yeah, especially for a company like Mappa who makes amazing animation already. Having a movie budget is just
Yeah,
like I hope I get to see it at some point in theaters, but regardless of how I see it, I'm sure it's going to blow me away. So good. Anything else?
yeah. That's all I've got.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.